If I don't put all the keywords in there, the HR wouldn't even give me a call.
So this challenge has been there for the last decade or so.
If it is a data science, core data science or machine learning job, build some random model using some data, put it on Streamlit and give that link.
Through this control F, they're getting the guys who are superficial, who are not really doing the things. It's going to impact business.
It's happening like the students with the less marks, they are getting shortlisted, and students with the more marks or CGPA, they're not getting shortlisted.
This is a problem that has been there for the last 30 years. I don't think this problem will be solved in the next 20 years.
Initially, everyone is a data analyst, data scientist. After that, it's a machine learning engineer, data engineer, now AI scientist.
Just because you did this PG course doesn't mean that you're a data scientist.
Data science is only morphed as AI right now. Old wine in a new bottle is what AI is.
If you are able to place them, they stay in the job for 3 months, you will be paid 1 lakh by the company.
I believe there is authenticity when somebody questions, and authenticity beats all your diplomacy on any given day.
Deadlines in the corporate world is non-negotiable sometimes.
These new age companies hire people from these traditional companies with traditional beliefs and then try to plug them in.
Develop a curriculum so that some kind of a finishing school happens in the college itself.
From last 15 years, we are running this internship plus PP module.
More than their credentials, it's what they know is more important.
This model that you say where we get people who intern with us and then we take them was a beautiful offer at that time.
Tired and frustrated of corporate artificial and plastic talks? Are you frustrated with unskilled YouTube gurus telling you what to upskill, how to cross-skill when they themselves don't have any tech background? So here at Titan Stock, we call industry stalwarts from across multiple industries and have them share their views on what they look for in lateral candidates and in freshers. So these are people who've been there, done that, and who are continuing to do. So these folks are going to give you their raw, unfiltered opinion on what they want and what they look for in a candidate and how you can prepare. We will talk about how should a lateral approach every industry and how they should get in, and how a fresher should kind of prepare themselves so that they become industry ready and more employable compared to just another college graduate. Welcome to Titan Stock. Here we are with another episode, again breaking the shackles of corporate world and talking to you straight from the heart. Today we are going to talk about how to build data science teams from scratch. We've got guests here who have built data science teams from scratch and are building it currently. And we've got somebody from Vishwakarma institutions who's here to share his thoughts on how they are preparing their students. So we have Sandeep, who I worked with in Marketelligent, who has built data science teams, and people who worked under him are at various leadership level positions across multiple fin services and insurance companies. We have Mark, who's working with the who's who in the CPG industry, and we have Srini, who's worked with a lot of clients in the supply chain space, and Vishwajit. So we will go ahead.
So yeah, my name is Sandeep Devagiri. I've been working in data science from 2008, and I've started my career in data science as an analyst, and I learned and I grew there. And I've also built multiple data science teams from scratch. And currently, I'm co-founder of a company called Brightside Loans. We do subprime lending in US.
He's a loan shark. Mark.
Yeah, so Mark Lionel John. Have started off my career in taxes, then went into business consulting, got the flavor of telling people what to do, liked it. Okay, took it a step further, worked with the government of India in education, where I did the Skill India movement and all of that. And then right about, by God's grace, before COVID hit, 2 years before that, decided to get into data analytics, because again, it's going to tell people what to do with facts, right? So joined that. And from there, it's just been a great journey. From 2018, been running NewPie, data analytics and digital transformation company. And of course, data science is a very integral, the magic and the flavor, the spice comes through the data science. So had pleasure growing a team, and we're still growing a team.
Srini, you can call me Srini. I spent almost 3 decades in the IT industry. I started in 1994, worked for global companies, services companies mostly. Maybe last 10, 12 years, I've spent my time on data analytics, data science, whatever you want to call. I worked with corporates leading data analytics practices, as well as I've started my own firm 5-6 years back. The company that I run right now is called SCOPT Analytics. It's a boutique business solutions company focused on optimization and transformation of supply chains. We use a lot of consulting, analytics, problem solving, basically to solve problems in the supply chain domain. That's what we do. I have a lot of experience hiring teams, IT teams, technology teams, data science teams, whatever you want to call. So I will be more than happy to share my experiences and happy to be here.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. Hello, this is Vishwajit from Vishwakarma Institutes and University Pune. I have been with the Vishwakarma from last 9 years. The Vishwakarma Institutes is a pioneer engineering institute in Pune. We have 40 years of legacy in the engineering education. So we are entered into the different education sectors like architecture, pharmacy, MBA, law, travel and tourism. I would say Vishwakarma Institutes is a trendsetter. 12 years back, we became autonomous and we started semester-long internships, and that's become a game changer. So many corporates now likes this internship plus PPO pattern, and they're hiring students from us. Thank you.
Great, thanks. So, I'll try to start it off with Srini and Mark. Okay, so Srini, I wanted to understand, what are the initial challenges that you faced when you were building your data science team, and what are the non-negotiables when you are building your own team, whether it be technical or non-technical.
Okay, I think I'll rephrase the question. Initial is probably, I'll say I'm having this challenge even today, right? So this challenge has been there for the last decade or so, and I still have the same challenge, right, of hiring the right people for my company as well as for my current organization. The challenge is very simple. I mean, if you have a flood, there's a lot of water, right? But then you don't get water to drink. So that's the current state of the market, especially in terms of recruitment hiring, right? Challenge is a lot of people in the market, but quality is a concern, right? Let's take an example, right? I keep posting ads on LinkedIn for my company. The moment I post an ad on LinkedIn, probably I'll get 100 to 200 in the first 2 days of profiles. I'm talking about resumes. And if I keep the ad continuing for a week or two, I'll get at least 1,000 profiles. Now, how do I start screening the profiles? How do I shortlist the profiles? How do I get to some kind of an interview process before I shortlist somebody, right? So my message is very simple. There's a lot of there's a lot of quantity, but quality is a question mark, right? Second is data science has been the buzzword for the last 10, 12, 13 years now, right? Everybody calls themselves as data scientists. Everybody calls themselves as AI ML experts. If you see the LinkedIn titles, everybody says AI ML expert, right? Now I think people have started generative AI as an example, right? So again, the problem is you're not going to be a data science expert just because you have developed a couple of dashboards, right? You're not going to be a data science expert just because you analyze some data. So these are all the challenges that I see in the market, because there's no clear distinction between a visualization guy as well as a data analyst or a BI or a data science guy, or even somebody who is a little more advanced, like somebody who can do some chatbots or intelligent conversational bots or whatever, right? So in a nutshell, what I see is there is a lot of muddying waters, right? So it's very, very difficult to find the right profile in the market, whether it is a fresher or whether it is an experienced profile, right? People write a lot in their resumes, but I mean, they can't even explain beyond 5 minutes what they have done in the project. So that's the challenge that I face today, as well as I faced yesterday, as well as I faced a decade back. So that's in a nutshell what are the challenges I see. And the second question that you asked, what is non-negotiable, right? Of course, I don't want to go into things like, I want people to be very honest in their resumes. You only put what you have done. That is very, very important to me, right? I see resumes as mile wide and inch deep. Everybody claims I know everything, but then you start digging, you probably figure out that they know nothing, right? So I would prefer resumes which are inch wide and mile deep, right? So you claim to be a data analyst, I'm fine. I mean, if you look at data science as a broader discipline, 60 to 70, 80% of the effort is basically data cleaning, preparing data, ensuring that the data is in a form shape which can be used for analysis and modeling. So there's a lot of grunt and dirty work that you need to do upfront. And that is where I think people have to focus and fine tune their skills, right? Writing models for training models and probably deploying models is probably more interesting and more fun to have, but that's only 10, 20, 30% of your job, right? So my view is claim what you know and start questioning. If you're working on a project, you question, what is this project all about? Why am I doing this project? What is the business benefit out of this project? Technology is just an enabler. So don't claim that you know technology. I mean, learning Python is probably a couple of months job at best, right? Learning any visualization tool, Power BI or Tableau or anything is no big deal. And today in the generative AI world, technology skills are given. Even if you don't know, you can Google, you can write to ChatGPT, and you'll get a code snippet easily, right? Or even if you try, you can get a full application written by a ChatGPT, right? All we are looking for is business understanding, analytical skills, inquisitiveness, questioning. That's what I think matters to me, and that's what I'll be looking for. I'm looking for profiles who are inch wide and mile deep. That's in a nutshell what I think is my response.
Srini, I also have the same point of view, but from an opposite side, I want to ask you as a candidate, so basically you give your, job description to an HR. You give it in a couple of lines. The HR goes ahead and generates a job description, which has all the technologies possible. Okay. And that JD is given to a student. The student goes to ChatGPT, pastes the JD, and prepares a fantastic resume. Okay. And that has almost all the technologies required. Now, if you are on, say, any job boards, for example, these HRs are trained to search for keywords.
Correct.
So unless they are, say, mile wide, they may not even show up on your HR's feed. So they want to have, although I share the same point of view, I'm asking you questions from a different point of view. Like, if I don't put all the keywords in there, the HR wouldn't even give me a call. So I am maximizing my opportunities for getting a call from the HR, so that I can showcase what I'm really good at. But then, this is a double edged sword. So how do I handle it as a student or a candidate?
It is tough, definitely, no doubt about it, because you are one among the millions who are trying to apply for a job, right? But having said that, in my view, you only highlight your top two or top three skills in your resume, right? And then go deeper in your resume about those skills, what exactly you have done, how you have leveraged those skills to solve a business problem, right? A lot of times people say, I build dashboards using Tableau or Power BI or whatever, right? So what? There are thousands of people who have already done it, right? That's not going to even give me any motivation to select your profile, right? But if you explain saying that using Power BI, I build dashboards which are used by sales folks to see sales trends or getting more insights by doing drill downs and whatnot. Explain the project or explain the work that you have done in a little more detail, highlighting what exactly you have done and how it kind of helped the end user. And just, I mean, anyway, the keywords or buzzwords will be there in your resume, right? Whether it is technical skill or whether it is any of these new concepts that you're talking about. But what I'm more interested in, how you're able to articulate, because most of the times I ask anybody, what is this project all about? Why are you even building this project? Who is the user for this project? What is the outcome of the project? They're not even able to answer these kind of questions. So I will not be excited if you just show that you know Power BI, because I can train somebody on Power BI in a matter of a month or so at best. There is a tool called Apache Superset, which is also a visualization tool. I learned it in 2 weeks myself. That happened in the last 2 months. And I built my own dashboards for one of the customers because I didn't have somebody who can build that. So, at, at, at my age, with 30 years of experience, if I can learn a tool in 2 weeks, then if you're a fresher coming out of college, you can learn any tool in 1 week because it takes longer time for me to learn compared to a fresher, right? So my message is very loud and simple. Write what you know and go deeper into that. Don't say I've built 5 projects in a span of 3 months. I'm not going to believe it. But you have done one project in a span of 3 months and you're able to articulate it well. You're able to explain it in your resume, which will grab my attention. And then when I give you an opportunity, you should be able to explain the project for half an hour at least. If I work for 3 months, you should be able to explain the project for at least half an hour. That is what will excite me. Skills are required, but skills can be acquired. That's my message.
Your point.
Yeah, so from the students or from the applicant's perspective, right, you have to stand out, right? With just a resume or a CV, you can't stand out. It can be wildlight, you can have like a booklet of all the projects with descriptions, but people don't have the time to go through that, right? It has to stand out. Unlike like 5 6 years back, there are a lot of open source tools available. If you know that this job is for visualization, create a small visualization in Power BI and send that link, or even take screenshots with mass data or something and put it in a PPT or in your CV. If it is a data science, core data science or machine learning job, build some random model using some data, put it on Streamlit and give that link. That will make you that will definitely get you an interview.
Good point.
Actually, it's a very good point. The only gap I see in the industry is that it's not Sandeep or Srini who is screening the resume. Okay, somebody else who is doing a control F and typing a Tableau or a Power BI doing the screening. So how do you, how do you plan to educate that person who is doing the screening? Or very rarely there are HRs who really understand technology, uh, and then they are really at the top of their game. Apart from them, most of them are control F HRs, talent acquisition
The good thing is
No,
that actions have its implications, right? I mean, the team, the operations team or the hiring team wants particular skill set. HR is not giving that skill set. Through this control F, they're getting the guys who are superficial, who are not really doing the things. It's going to impact business. That is going to trickle down. So the system fixes itself, or should be fixing itself.
Other point I want to highlight is that nowadays you should have a portfolio of your own, which should be available in the public domain in GitHub or whatever, right? So I should be able. I mean, we are educating our hiring teams so that they will also start looking for what is your portfolio in the public domain. Have you contributed to the uh, public projects or open source initiatives in the last 6 months? Have you at least done something, right? So those are all some of the things that we are asking. Not just look at the resume. The resume should definitely have your portfolio of projects that you have done outside your current job, and that should be in the public space. And that is what we look for, at least in my company. When we are looking for people, we look for that, and that is one way of screening resumes and saying that, okay, if you have not done anything outside your work, maybe you're not motivated enough, maybe you're not excited to work on technology or whatever, right? So those are some of the things that we are doing right now. So how people were hired 30 years back or 20 years back versus today is very different. I second what Sandeep is saying, because if you're applying for a visualization job, build some dashboards and show me that you can do something, right? Or at least you have done something in the past, showcase that as part of your resume by providing links.
See, and in fact, even now colleges, they have, why do they have extracurriculars? Why do they have, seminars? Why do they have other projects that you have to submit? Because that is the culture that they are building into these students, where yes, your coursework is there, but you have this additional work also that you have to do and showcase. And I'm sure that that is a mandate, right, on their resumes, where they
Of
show
course, we have.
additional
And
things.
one point I want to make here, we observed, like many recruiters now, they are using the digital tool AI detector. So using that tool, they are screening their resumes. So it's happening like the students with the less marks, they are getting shortlisted, and students with the more marks or CGPA, they're not getting shortlisted. Of course, students comes to me like why they are not shortlisted. They have a highest grades in 10th, 12th, and graduation. But it's all about AI. Like companies are using these tools and they are shortlisted. So getting shortlisted, students are trying to insert all the keywords in the resumes. So the AI detector will will search the keywords, and their resumes will get shortlisted. So these are the smart ways students are using.
No, it's. I think it's the.
Hire the student who can
You're
crack
trying to
that
beat the
system.
system, basically.
No, it's
Yeah.
the person who is flawed who is training the model again to be flawed. That is how I look at it, because if you're going to, so basically what you are saying is the AI tool is doing control F on behalf of the HR.
Yeah.
So that is no, we are telling, Srini is telling we should stop train the people to better screen the profiles, and now people are teaching to do control F on AI bots. So then the whole purpose is defeated, right? So I'm also on the same boat. The reason I'm asking you is that, look, all of us are on the same boat. We all kind of go ahead and sling a lot of stuff at people who are concocting their resumes. But then what about people who have applied for multiple jobs and never got calls, but who have actually done work, versus people who know how to maneuver the system and get calls and get into jobs. So
This is a problem that has been there for the last 30 years. I don't think this problem will be solved in the next 20 years. That's my first point that I made, right? I make an ad in LinkedIn, I get thousands of profiles. So, how do I start? Where do I start, right? And that problem exists. There's no easy way of solving it. So, the other way of looking at it is going through referrals, right? So, if somebody is referring somebody, at least there is some amount of credibility attached to that profile because of the reference. So, that is another way of looking at it. And the way they approach the job posting, right, by showcasing something that you've already done, that kind of gets your attention to a bit for a bit. So mass hiring is tough. Freshers are hired based on some marks and analytical skills and whatnot. I don't know whether it works well or not. I'm not sure because I've been out of touch with that fresher hiring for a long time now. But we still struggle to hire quality profiles. There's no doubt about it. We have a challenge of quality in this country at this point in time. That's my summary.
Yeah, I don't think it's country. It's all across the world. I think that's what I keep hearing. Data science, there are a lot of people, but not good data
Water,
scientists.
water everywhere, no water to drink.
I think it's happening because of demand and supply equation. Like there is a less demand and more supply from the universities.
And that will always be true, isn't it? For anything, for any requirement. But data science somehow caught the attention of the masses
Yeah.
for a long time. And I hope the hype will come down.
I think data science is only morphed as AI right now. So it's just old wine in a new bottle is what AI is. Data science, natural progression of data science is what
Uh,
AI is.
no,
You're
that's
old if you're talking about AI. It is generative AI now.
no, that's what happened. Initially, everyone is a data analyst. After that, it's data scientist. And after that, it's a machine learning engineer, data engineer. Now AI scientist. So
They have fancy designations. So
yeah.
when I joined as a business analyst in Mu Sigma. So that was data scientist back then. So I thought business analyst, I don't have to do any coding. And then I go in there and then I realize it's not Java C, it's going to be R and SAS. I'm like, okay, where did I come and land myself? And so that was my initial. Then, around 20 to 13, we invented the term called decision scientist in Mu Sigma. That only became data scientist. Okay, so decision scientist, data scientist. Now, everybody is coming up with a new word every other quarter, not every other year, every other quarter. And I see. So when you're
Prompt
saying,
engineering is the buzzword now.
so there are, actually you can prompt GPT to give a prompt for GPT. So that is the whole thing. And actually, adding my point here, right? What I see is that you say you get thousands of profiles, and then you don't know how to handle that much volume. You have limited amount of time. You want somebody to do it, and I think that was the traditional role of an HR consulting firm. And in India especially, I've worked with clients across the globe. In India especially, what I see is that HR consulting firms are looked down upon like some dalals. And then like the client decides the rate, the client decides the quality, and you get to service it. I don't know which industry works this way. Like 8.33, that is the whole point. So what
Now it
has
has come
happened?
down to 6%.
No, as in specifically we any client. So I worked initially in that model. It's a volume game, and it's like spray and pray. Okay,
Correct.
so and it doesn't work. So like all of you guys are in services industry. You build the client. You know what you're getting before you put in the effort. Whereas for me it was a sudden shock that you have to spray and pray and then hope the numbers work out. The stars don't align, it doesn't align. So and then I realized, and then slowly what happened is we started onboarding clients only from references, and we say we will not work 8.33. It's 15%. You want, take it. If your time is less valuable than the 7% that extra that you're going to give me, then you should not be working with a recruitment consultant. You should do it yourself.
Correct.
That is, the stand we have taken. Now the clients we have, after taking this stand, are much more serious, because if they are giving you extra money, they're like, boss, this is not my job. Actually, TA, recruitment talent acquisition, is a sales job. It's not an HR job. It's a sales job, and the worst sales job, because you have to sell both sides.
Correct.
I sold analytics at Brilio and Marketelligent. I will sell whatever I want. I'll come back and say, Sandeep, please do it. And Sandeep will figure out a way to do it. Here I have to convince the candidate as well as the client.
Correct.
So that's a both ways. And I see that, what you're saying, handling this deluge of resumes and getting to the right one is what, recruitment consulting firms are specialized in. And as long as, there are companies that come up and appreciate the time that the person is saving, I don't think it will happen, because the entry barrier in recruitment consulting is very low. The exit barrier is also very low. You can start a company today, you can wind it up tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yeah, correct.
So that's the whole thing.
I think that mindset works with niche consulting or niche analytics firms, but like big firms where they do mass hiring, it's really very difficult for them. I mean, you can't get so many quality people. You need
That's
to
why
spend
they do
like
standardized tests, right? That's all.
yeah.
So
They hire based on that.
that is one of
Yes.
the reasons why you see these big, large firms losing out on their edge, because they are trying to do a cookie cutter for everything and trying to fit everybody in that mold. Okay. And the niche firms, let's say, Srini is saying I do supply chain analytics, Mark is saying I do digital transformation and CPG analytics. So the quality value proposition is very clear. When you are trying to fit everybody into the mold, right, that is when you lose the edge. And what happens is, one more big thing I observe is that these new age companies hire people from these traditional companies with traditional beliefs and then try to plug them in, especially GCCs. And now what GCCs have become is that they are a, smaller version of an Infosys or a TCS, sitting out of India.
Correct.
Because they lose the innovation edge if you don't have those innovative people leading from the top. So that is what I feel. So, I think that's my perspective. And it's been rather, cumbersome journey working with, you say, right, working with people. Imagine, it's like, you have to work, because 90% of our work gets done before sending the profiles to the client. And then the client says, oh no, we put it on hold, we filled it internally, or we worked with another vendor and closed it at a cheaper price. So you're like, why did I work in the first place? So now I don't have any incentive to work for a client at all. So in that case, I believe that, if companies continue to treat like this, good consultants will leave or will charge higher. And the companies that, basically, what does analytics company do? You have a specialty, you go to a Fortune 500 company and say, this is my core specialty. Is it that the Fortune 500 company cannot build a team with this money? They can do it themselves. But the time you are saving is what is the key factor. And, to your point, to handle the deluge of resumes, you need quality consultants when you said referral. And for
Right.
quality consultants, I believe the industry should also appreciate what a consultant brings in. If you say, I will do it myself, please do it. You should not work with a consultant.
Great.
So, for these problems, we have developed a very unique module, that's the internship plus PPA module. We used to get complaints from the recruiters like the students are not doing good, or after joining, they left in between because of their behavioral issues and all that. So we become autonomous in 2008. So from last 15 years, we are running this internship plus PPA module, and that becomes very famous in all the recruiters. All the major companies they hire through this internship plus PPA module. So I'll tell you how it works. So the company comes for the recruitment. So they recruit students for the 6 months internships. So being autonomous, we have a 6 months internship thing in our curriculum. So students go for the 6 months internships at the company office or in hybrid mode, and the companies observe them for 6 months. They deploy on some project, they train them on some technology. So within a span of 6 months, they get to know like how the candidate is working actually. So the student who is fit in the company culture, who works hard, they gets the FTA, the PPO, pre-placement offer. The students who are not that much competent, they work hard, they try to become competent to get the PPO. So in that way, companies get the good candidates. And I'm happy to share, like, the companies are now very happy with that, and they're coming back to us to recruit the new hires every year.
So this
So I
is the
think
last
that's,
semester or seventh semester?
yes, a seventh or eighth semester. So we are
Okay.
quite flexible with the internships. So it's a 6 months internship semester that is in the seventh semester or the eighth semester. In some special cases, we allow students for the 1 year internship as well.
I think this is the way forward, in my view, right? Internships are a good way of getting trained on the job, and then hopefully, if the candidate scales up, they'll continue to work as an employee, right? Um, that's definitely one disruptive model that I see. The other models also are also there. For example, collaborate with corporates or even smaller companies and develop a curriculum so that some kind of a finishing school happens in the college itself, right? See what corporates are looking for versus what colleges are training. There is a huge gap in my view, right? See, what we are looking for is fundamentals, right? Analytical thinking, right? What do I mean by analytical thinking? It's about looking at data and making your own decisions on top of it, right? Making your own insights, generating your own insights. Uh, Basically, asking the right questions to get to the bottom of a problem, right? Having the right attitude, inquisitiveness, and all those fundamentals uh, to excel in an environment which is new to you. People are not very confident of talking in public forums, right? I've seen students coming out of colleges, some are very, very confident and they can carry themselves well. A lot of students who are not very confident, but they may be very competent, right? So, some of these skills, right attitude, never give up kind of an attitude, and then things like figuring out, right? Ability to figure out is what is important in today's world because there's a lot of knowledge available in public domain. You don't have to invent anything. You just have to discover what is there and apply that to your problem statement. I wish I had Google when I was studying. I wish I had ChatGPT when I was working as a developer. I mean, right? So today students are basically having the luxury of all these tools, and how you productively use these tools matters to me as someone who is a potential employer, right? Uh, if these can be inculcated in college with a little different curriculum, I think that will go a long way in my view. So I don't want you to train on technical skills. I want you to train on things which are not very quantifiable, but those are all the things that will matter in the longer run, right? Oh, I know Power BI. Yeah, I mean I can also learn Power BI in the next 1 month. So it's not a big thing that I'll appreciate. But for example, you go to your local Kirana store and you ask for your favorite toothpaste or whatever cream, and the guy says it's out of stock. It'll come tomorrow. Have some open, inquisitive brain to ask questions. Why is it out of stock? Is it because you didn't order at the right time, or is it because there is a huge demand? So if you start asking these kind of fundamental questions, then you will understand how distribution works, which is basically what the entire world runs on supply chain. I mean, I'm probably focused on supply chain, so I'm talking about it. But at the end of the day, what is supply chain? Getting the right product at the right time, at the right place, with the right quantity for the right price, right? So you are touching and feeling these industries on a daily basis. If you're very inquisitive, you will start asking that Kirana store guy why it is out of stock, what happened, and then you'll start understanding. Then you start Googling, you figure out how supply chain works, right? So this is what matters to me, not to your technical skill. I'm probably reiterating the same point in multiple ways, but that is my core ask.
I've observed this, a lot. There were really, really, students who were not that great academically, who spoke fantastically well, who are doing excellent in their career right now. And I know people who topped the class who didn't know how to talk or who didn't know how to communicate, whatever they were thinking, articulation basically, who are very doing very mediocre jobs for the amount of marks that they got and the kind of academic qualifications that they had. And I believe that will with advent of Gen AI and Chat GPT and all these things, right? I think this will become more accentuated, and where only the person's ability to articulate and prompt will become more important than doing, because doing you can get anybody to do it. Now ChatGPT is your assistant, Copilot is your Microsoft Copilot is your assistant, so you don't need a junior programmer anymore. That's my view as well. I second that.
My favorite thing is, what is the role of a management consultant? Why does he get paid so much? Because he knows how to ask the right questions and extract information from you, and then present it or package it in a form which will generate insights for the management, right? That's why he's called a management consultant. Now I see that's the kind of skills required for a developer or a fresher in today's world. If you know what are the right questions to ask, you'll get answers easily. There are tools available in the market to get you those answers. So framing the right questions, thinking in the right logical way, getting to the root of a problem and analyzing that is more important in today's world. That's why prompt engineering, I mean, I saw some jobs which are saying $300,000 in US for a prompt engineer. I don't know what is his job, but that's what they're paying for.
True. Mark, I want to, kind of, round up this conversation with you. So, how do you align your business operations with the need of building a data science team?
Okay, so let me talk about the data science team as such and what we have done. So we started our growth journey. I mean, we started the company in 2018, but actual growth and movement into data science and its acquiring of the team started in 2020. Yes, COVID was when we actually grew quite a bit. Okay, and this model that you say where we get people who intern with us and then we take them was a beautiful offer at that time. We budgets were shoestring. It was a challenge, and this was a good opportunity. Take the guy, you like them, you put them through your rigor, you like them, absorb them, and that is how we have built our team. Okay, things opened up after COVID. I mean, things became better. We thought, you know what, our guys have been with us. They only see what has happened within our organization and our clients. We want some fresh experience. So we hired laterally a few guys, expecting them. They had at least double the experience that our guys had, because 2020 they started off with us. 2 years are in, they had double the experience. Brought them in, expecting them to lead our team. Okay. Unfortunately, our guys, or fortunately, our guys are running circles around them. It so happened that these guys who had been put through a, I would say, intellectually abusing journey with NewPy, okay, were able to outsmart, outperform, and it started helping and advising the guys who are lateral hires. And we did, of course, the resume. I like what you said, breadth, no depth. They broke very easily when you really question them, all of that. So that was a big learning for us in this thing. And that was maybe, I mean, people they had to let them go, right? That is what happened. So that's on the building of the sales team. I mean, on the not sales team, on the analytics team. Now, so then we have taken that approach where we home grow our guys and all of that. Of course, there are challenges that we are facing now of scaling in time. It's taking too long. It's farming literally, right? I mean, I have to grow them in an organization. It's taking time. We have to figure that out. But the good thing about that is, and why I say that our team aligns with our operations. I mean, that is your main question, right? How do I align our team's philosophies and their desires and their career path with our operations, right? The core of it is culture. Coming into what you also say, right? I want people who are able to think, who are able to problem solve, right? And I feel the only way that they can do that is if you give them a safe ground to first challenge you. Before they go challenge the client, before they go challenge the conventional way of thinking that they have to challenge you as an organization. I mean, the easiest thing is as a boss, come and dude, I need this done, please do it. No, sir, but no, just don't argue with me, just do it. No, yeah, that doesn't work. Then everything is and this thing is there I'm taking the risk of everything. Doesn't work, it is the thing. But I have a brilliant set of 25 people all thinking differently. Why don't I channelize that? So what we started doing is empowering them to ask questions. It was a little hard for us at first, but then that we saw the value of that, where they are empowered to ask questions. They are starting now to challenge the client. And there was one instance with one of our clients, okay, Indian saying pharmaceutical giant. So we saw it on the floor, okay. This guy who we hired in 2020, he is having a yelling match with this lady in the at the client's place. Okay, saying that no, it is not possible. I mean, of course, respectful, but volume is going up. Okay, so everyone's are standing and looking around. Okay, so until then we have been having governance calls, and there's been like, okay, you guys are not doing anything. We are asking you something, you're not executing. There's dissatisfaction in the quality. After that yelling match, the next governance call which I got into, suddenly that lady had a lot of respect for this guy. She's like, and she personally asked, if he comes and he says it is possible, we will do it. So that is the value where our guys are empowered. And after that yelling match, he came and in fact, Appa, I'm sorry, sir, for doing this. I said, no, you did it. I trust you. You forget about it. I trust you because I know. So I'd say culture of empowerment, trust your people, because yes, when we are coaching them, when you're off field, it's fine to question them and train them. But in the field, when they are there, trust them to have your back. And that's the culture we build. And that is how, I know that it's automatically getting aligned. Right.
That's kind of great to hear, because corporate cultures generally don't entertain questioning. Okay. And I was the black sheep in all the organizations I've worked. Sandeep knows it better. So, and then I also realized that, I believe there is authenticity when somebody questions, and authenticity beats all your diplomacy on any given day. At least you know what the person is feeling, rather than getting a very concocted kind of cookie cut answer, telling you in nice words that they cannot do it. So I believe that is there. And before we started recording prelude, this whatever your answer said is kind of a continuation to that. So coming back again, right? So what Mark says is kind of seconding the point. It's easier to train people who are fresh right out of college, because their belief system is not completely set, and the propensity to learning is much higher compared to taking somebody from an industry experience 5 years 6 years. So they claim to be an expert, they come and they say this is how things are done, rather than kind of imploring how else can it be done. Than to solve the problem, they focus on the methodology that they've been kind of used to. So that is something that I always do that. And then
it's easier, sorry to interrupt, but it's easier to break a fresh mindset, because one, they're coming into the organization with that the university mindset, or the college, the education system mindset, where guru, what you say I will do, right? And I mean, of course, colleges are changing now, but the good thing is you over there nip it at the bud, and also give them a safe environment. You're not going to get detention. You're not going to get thrown out of the office. I mean, I don't know. It's not going to benefit me. You're going to stand outside the door facing the wall, right? So you please question. You are, and it's stupid of you to think that just because you question me, I'm going to fire you. I'm going to spend another 3 months hiring another guy. You are valuable. You're here because I need you. Start getting that in mind, and as much as you need me, I need you. Equal. Come on, now let's get down to business.
True. Now I want to direct a very, very, controversial question to Sandeep. Okay. So this upskilling, cross skilling, and nowadays, I'm when you consume content on YouTube, all these leading YouTube guys, they're all, sponsored by, say, Unacademy, Byju's, Upgrad, whatnot. There are like umpteen number of training, edtech companies that, say, hey boss, you do a course in data science, you'll get a job. What I see is that there is a guy who has worked as a, let's say, in his resume, he's worked as a data scientist for 6 years in TCS, right out of college, in 2014 only. And then 2021, he goes and does a 2-year post graduation in data science. And then he is now continuing as a senior data scientist in TCS, expecting a salary of, say, 35 lakhs. Okay, I'm like, if you were a data scientist for 6 years, why do you need a data science degree for you to do this? So once they do that, they are taught to concoct their entire resume backwards. So it's like stupidity. You think the other guy sitting there has got no brains, he'll just look at it and take it. And then like all the projects, they will whatever they did during the coursework, they'll kind of put it out in different phases, and then say that they've done it across 4 or 5 years. When there was no data science team in TCS, how did you become a data scientist? I don't know, right out of college. So that is the question. So that is one point. So I want you to address this, because I see a lot of people spending a fortune on these colleges and companies, saying that they are going to get me a job. I know you've hired some people who passed out of that college. I want to know why you hired some of them who passed out of that college. At the same time, I also want you to tell me, would you even consider somebody who's got a this edtech certification, which I can very well
Yeah.
do it in Photoshop.
See, I'm gonna be honest, right? So if I'm hiring, I don't look at certifications. I don't look at which college they are from. When initially I started looking. Yeah, this is a tier one college. Yeah, this guy must be good, and yeah, that's how I used to screen. But after interviewing a lot of people, I understood that yeah, more than their credentials, it's what they know is more important, and basically their attitude is very important. Uh, See, I'm all up for people learning. You spend as much, you learn. But once you learn, don't just put that certificate. Show me that you know what you have learned, right? If you are not able to explain or show that this thing I've learned is I know all about it, it's not going to be useful for me. And it's not going to be useful for him as well. It's just there for the sake of being there.
So how I see that is that they enrolled in some random college with for a B. They got out of college and then they realized that they did not get a job. After that, now this edtech companies are again making bakra out of all these people, saying that you come here, we'll give you a certification, then we'll get you a job. So
Yeah, so do a certification, but apply that, no? Apply the learning somewhere. So it's not like 10 years back. If you learn something, there are many places on the internet for you to apply those things. Just take an example of data science, right? So when I started, there is nothing out there in data science or analytics, but then Kaggle started. So if you want to be a data scientist, start downloading data from Kaggle and start uploading your submissions. Even if you are last on the leaderboard,
you
if you are
still
there,
have a place on the board.
yeah, you still have a place on the board, and I appreciate that more than people from IIT doing nothing.
So I will, I'll tell you from a record. I had this value proposition once. One guy came and he said, "We have these, really desperate folks who are stuck in their career, not able to move. 5 years, 10 years in some random IT company doing some BPM or or some random processing, and these guys are, they are willing to give you money. Okay, so you go ahead and then get them on board, and then you change your website to offering all data science these things, service offerings. So when somebody comes up to your website, they'll know that you have all these data science offerings, and then you give them experience certificates. We have backdoor ways to place these people inside. So I will get a cut and I will pass a cut on to you, and then we will get all these people. But in 4 or 5 years, people will figure out in the industry ki ye company se log aa raha hai, so I will not take them. Then what you do is you open up another entity, or 2 3 years before only you open up, so that that entity doesn't look new. So when you see that there is more rejections, you
Move
switch
to
to
the
the
next
next
one.
entity.
Oh
So
boy.
So
big con job.
Yeah.
this is what was the value proposition. I said, boss, this doesn't align with my values. It's all right. I make decent amount of money. I don't need all these things. And I showed him the door. But this is what I see happening largely in industry. So you go and type a data engineering job, you'll find everything from 2001 till 2024, all the technologies on their resume. And every resume, only the name will be different. Everything else is the same. So
So even in companies also spend a lot of money on training, giving them access to these online training portals, and they get outside trainers and all, right? It doesn't work unless the person is really interested in learning, right? So even in my previous company also, they've got some subscription. LinkedIn used to have that plural site or something. So and they asked my team to build an internal score to see how people are learning, and they want to utilize them instead of hiring from outside. We built a score on how we get on the how many articles they read, how many lectures they understood. But when there is a requirement and when we interviewed them, there's nothing. I mean, we can't use them. It doesn't work unless the person is really into it, right? So that's why having the right attitude in an employee is very important.
Sandeep, our experience is little bit different here. So in lockdown 2020, we had a Coursera subscription for our students. The reason was like we were operating virtually, so we want our students to engage in something good. And it was there for 6 months, and almost 2,700 students, all second year, third year, fourth year students, they did 15,000 different certifications on Coursera. It was free there. And we observed the good result out of it. Like we observed a good placement, good average salary, good median salary, good number of placements, diversity of companies where our students are getting placed. And now we are again thinking to have this Coursera, Unstop, and other subscriptions for our students, because many of our recruiters, they are asking for the certifications, they are asking for the specialized candidates. As I told you, like many recruiters are expecting the day one billable candidates from the colleges, and again we have to fulfill the requirements of the
Sure.
recruiters.
Yeah.
So I think the difference is mass hiring versus niche hiring,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you're looking for large companies where they hire in hundreds or thousands, right, every year, uh, they have certain type of work to be delivered to their customers. That work demands certain types of skills and certifications. And if the colleges are encouraging students to go through these certifications, it kind of helps them that first level filtering and whatnot, right? And then they do their own standardized tests to select students, and that will work, because then they'll put these profiles in front of their customers saying that these are all certified, so they can do this basic job on day one. That works for those kind of large companies who are involved in mass hiring. I wouldn't dispute that, because I worked with large companies also in the past. But what I think Sandeep is talking about is of his experience working with smaller companies which are looking for niche skills,
Yeah.
right? That's what I am in the last 10 years, working for smaller companies looking for niche skills. And the expectations are very different there. Your certification might give you that base. I'm not disputing that, right? But is that good enough for me? Definitely no, right? What I'm looking for is your ability to learn on your own as well as on the job, and apply those learnings in a real life scenario. That's what we are looking for, right? If certifications are helping you in that process, great, you can go through certifications. But does it add value to me when I'm evaluating the candidate? Definitely no. I agree with Sandeep 100%. I don't look for certifications. I've not reached the Google level right now. Google is saying I don't care about your education also. You can be +2 pass, it doesn't matter. What matters is whether you can clear my test,
Yeah.
right? So I've not reached that level, and I don't think I'll ever reach there. But I still look for some basic degree, I still look for some pedigree and whatnot. But to me, certifications may not matter. What matters is whatever you are claiming in the resume, can you showcase that when I'm having a conversation with you? And also, we do tests online, right? Where you open your laptop or desktop and start showing me how you code, how you solve a problem. And those problems are solved with open book. When I say open book, you can search for Google for syntax and whatnot. I'm not saying you should remember syntax. All I'm saying is, how do you solve the problem? How do you apply the knowledge that you have, and how do you apply the knowledge that is already available in the public domain? That is what we are looking for, right? So certifications may help, may not help. I agree with again Gautam saying that there's a, I mean, there are a bunch of people who have spent 5 to 10 years working on some obscene technology, right? And they wanted a break, so they have gone through this 2 year post graduation in some big name university or whatever, and then they come out and become a data scientist overnight. Just because you did this PG course doesn't mean that you're a data scientist. And then you are charging me for 12 years of experience, whereas you're a fresher as far as data science is concerned. And that is where the disconnect is for people like us who are small companies trying to hire from the market. I can't afford a 12-year experienced salary for a fresher. If you're ready to go through the fresher cycle again after 10 years of experience in some other technology, more than happy to look at you as a fresher.
But
And
in this point, I mean, the guy comes with 10 years of experience. He's bringing functional knowledge to your data science practice. Then there is value in it.
definitely, I don't deny that. But if somebody has worked on AS 400, doing some support work for 10 years, and then come and say, okay, that AS 400 application, I don't even know what is the functionality of that application. All I'm doing is support. Now that 10 years is gone. Now 2 years you have done this course. Now you can't claim to be a 12-year experienced data scientist. That's all my disconnect is in the market.
No,
I see.
even I had many people who are working as IT developers who have been building small APIs or even websites and stuff like that. But as long as they understand why they are building for the business, what is it that they are building, rather than just writing a code, I think that's very helpful for data science, because they can understand the business, and even if they don't know data science before, if they understand the business and they can frame the problem on and the solution that can cater to the business, that's good enough.
Beautiful.
So, no, as in, adding on to that, right? So, data scientists, they look at it as a single function. So, it's basically a three padded function, like, say, a business analyst who understands business, a programmer who does programming, and a statistician who understands math. So, if they are not good at any three of these, they shouldn't be a data scientist in the first place. So that is the whole point. They think that they write good programs so they can be a data scientist. They think that they can talk well so they can become a data scientist. Either ways, it doesn't work. So that is one point. And then adding it, to your point on, your students performing better. There is a fire in the belly when, you're in college because you want to get onto a good job. Okay. Once you've come on to the company, there is a shift that, your learning is complete. And in today's world, every technology, there is a new technology that is coming every 3 months, that you're like, oh, this guy is written, what is this? So this is something that probably Sandeep would be like, hey, what is this new technology? I saw Sandeep in 2015, 2013, where Sandeep used to be learning himself, learning a technology newly, and then if he finds it viable, then he'll bring it to the team, or else he'll junk it. So I saw Sandeep from that day, and today he has become a loan shark sitting in India. He's
Loan
lending for
shark, huh?
subprime, loans in the US, and the entire model runs out of India. He's got a lot of money. That is the second part. But then, apart from that's what I see it. And then, that thing is there. And what, kind of summarizing all of you is that basically whatever money that they are spending on certification is basically putting money down the drain. Because I see a
See, I wouldn't say money down the drain. I mean, getting certificates is fine, but when you're getting certificates, or especially for students, right, they should be aware of what they're getting into. If they want to if get into a big company, like with tens of thousands of employees, yeah, maybe certificates will definitely help, because that will help them shortlist their resume at least, right? But when you get there, you have to also keep yourself aware that you will be stuck to that.
so as in, the whole point is whatever they are being taught is available for free on the internet. Okay.
See, Gautam, as an idealist, yes, everything is there on the internet, I can do it. But the reality is that faith in humanity is non existent unless there's a little tag.
So
Or rather, it's diminishing. So that is why the tag, substitutes for that lack of faith.
no, as in
And in this, sorry, just to complete, in the situation of this mass hiring where, HR can't come, Papa, okay, oh, is it, how are you, tell me about yourself, all that is not really happening a lot, right? It's that piece of paper, and the statistics are, when I was in college, they used to say HR will spend, 60 seconds on your resume. Then when I got a job, 45 seconds. Now it's some 30 seconds. I mean, now some 20 seconds. You only told me.
control F.
Right, now it's
no,
control F.
now bot
Right.
is shortlisted.
What is shortlisting?
In that kind of a world, I mean, the reality is that these certificates kind of get them this edge up.
So
So-
I will tell you again.
We have to break the system to kind of
No, not it's constructively breaking. Not a big believer in God, but still, Shiva is constructive destruction, right?
Mhm.
So that is because you break to build. What I see is, I spoke with a few of these institute owners. Okay, I spoke to them and I asked them, "Ki, everything is available online. Why do somebody need to come to you?" They said, "Was basically Anybody who is smart enough to figure it out themselves would have figured it out themselves. The people who are not that smart, who cannot do it themselves, are the people that need hand holding. So that is where we do the hand holding. So basically, what you're doing is you're giving crutches for a person who is disabled. And because you have given crutches, you are expecting a capitalist company to be considerate and give them a job. Looking at it from a corporate angle, nobody is working for free, right? It's somehow, it's somehow okay, for a candidate to come at the last minute and say, I'm not joining you, but the company not honoring an offer is a crime. The same thing, a candidate accepting an offer and turning it down, right? Like, I give you an offer, you come and join me, and the last nth minute you are coming and telling me, boss, I'm not joining you. That is fair. Okay. But then, the company saying, boss, I will not honor the offer, I'm rescinding the offer, is completely unfair. So you see that there is a socialist angle to all of these things if you look at it. So because, you're discouraging, merit. And I believe that, these certificates, right? Basically, anybody can get a certificate. Are you going to look at the certificate? If I put certification if I Photoshop a certificate, will you be able to find out whether it is Photoshopped? So
No,
basic,
absolutely.
so no way. So then why do I need to pay somebody to do it?
So then coming to another thing that from the other's perspective, right? I worked in skilling and part of the government program. Beautiful program, DDU-GKY is where I was core in implementing. We set up centers and we train. And there were other companies doing a competition. Beautiful scheme. I'm going to take a minute to explain.
Sure,
scheme.
sure.
Okay. Beautiful scheme. Okay. So you take a student, you train them for 3 months. If you are able to place them, they stay in the job for 3 months. You will be paid 1 lakh by the company, by the government. Sorry. So now I can run in one center. We actually took a Darshini and reconverted it. It was a 3-4 building, reconverted into a training center in Warangal. We were able to hold 90 students in a center. That is literally what this thing 3 batches of 30, right? So that is how we are able to run, and beautiful model. I'm getting 1 crore at the end of 6 months, and I run batches parallelly, right? So and very low investment. Now that is a model. We got into it. Again, idealistic view. Fantastic company that I worked with. We taught them through games. In fact, I was part of the gaming division where we made learning fun, designed games. And what is the objective was to give them application, real world application. Philosophy of the company. Push them into the deep end of the swimming pool and then give them instruction and get them to learn to swim. Right? That is why experiential learning. That is beautiful. We did it for 2 batches. Excellent students were very good to be placed in programmers, all of that. Problem is companies weren't hiring from this program for the skill sets we were training. We did BFSI, ITIS, those sector skill council we trained. They were not hiring from the program. Who was hiring from the program was BPOs, KPOs.
Why is that?
That was just because they were not
Branding was lacking.
Branding was there, and they are students from rural India, Warangal, Ranchi, Patna.
So communication was an issue.
Communication also we had trained them for, but that branding, as you said, the value
Maybe
that was
the
this thing.
colleges are tier 3 or something.
These are not colleges. These are okay. Yeah, the college also tier. So these guys. One more thing is that when we got the students, they are programmers. Okay, computer engineers, right? They will know how to write Hello World. Same thing, write Fibonacci series, no. That is the problem. So we trained them, gave them the skill set, equipped them, but they were not getting jobs. People were not taking from this place. Our competitors were doing better. What were they doing? They were taking the guys in from day one, started training them for placement training. So these guys, anyway, they say, okay, they have their degree, bring them in, placement training from day one, start training placement, and at the end, they were placing them at BPOs. The guys who are companies that are coming were able to take them because they were able to crack the interview. Then meritify them, threaten them, do not go anywhere for 3 months, get the pay slip, then you do whatever you want.
So this is made to order versus made to stock.
True. So actually, how I see this is that, so we had a conversation last time as well. So especially, one is this bulk hiring is gone. Nobody is coming and taking 300, 500 people out of your college because they are themselves battling how to ensure that they remain profitable. That's why they're laying off a lot of people. One is that. Second thing is that companies that need specialized talent, cannot rely on certifications. I believe they should set up center of excellences inside colleges, so where these centers of excellence kind of prep the students in the third year, and the good students can do a year long internship. So the biggest thing about hiring freshers is that they fly every 3 months, 6 months. All the time you have put in is gone to drain. Wherein you have somebody for 1 year, you get to train them, you get to also ensure, nurture, and grow them, and then at the end of 1 year you get a fresher, an experienced guy, 1 year experienced guy at a fresher salary. So that is what I liked about Vishwakarma's program, for me to kind of talk about it within my clients. So what happens is, you as a company, what are the technologies need. You put a center of excellence, and then you train a few faculty who will do it throughout the year. You have somebody visiting once in a while, so they are kind of marinated, ready to be fried. And then 1 year they work in your company, they get experience, they cannot run anywhere.
See,
1 year they're
what I'm
stuck.
trying to say, well, just to conclude what I was saying, and in line with what you are saying, right? See, the company, when they come to hire the guy, what you're saying is they have to have, if they've invested a little bit in the student, they are also serious about it, correct? Or in Vishwakarma's case, they've experienced a student, they are the thing. Where we were doing this was in when 2014 to 2015, 16, right? At that time, companies did not know what they wanted to hire, in the sense they said, okay, certification, this certification given by government may not be good, but they're not looking at the quality of education, they're not looking at the experiential learning part. Other than the other point is that yes, they try to organize the learning sector with sector skill councils and all of that, right? But the evaluation of that was still in the old format, where I can easily game it. I just need to memorize, and I'm able to qualify that. So that qualification had no value. So maybe I would shift the focus onto the way the certificate is acquired. Is it a written memory based examination, or is it an application based
Problem
examination?
solving.
It should be application based actually.
Yes. So then that certification has value suddenly. That is what
But
we
that
learned.
is true for all the edtech companies which are handing over certificates. No, those are all memorized learning at
Yeah.
best.
Yes.
And they claim that they'll give some problem and they'll solve, but those are all synthetic data. It's
Yes.
not real data. I mean, when you
They
work
also
on
need to pass
synthetic
the
data,
guys, no?
yeah,
So they'll
exactly.
synthesize it.
Yeah.
So Sandeep just mentioned about the synthetic data. So like we always try to learn what our recruiters are expecting. So being autonomous, like we have a freedom to restructure our curriculum. So we have a very good thing here, and that's in the selective. So what we do, like many recruiters or companies have a very specific niche demand of technology, and though we are autonomous, we need to stick to the basic fundamental engineering subjects. Of course, we try to add the cutting edge technology subjects in curriculum. So we invite companies, they come, they give a specific subject or specific syllabus that we fit into our curriculum, the 40 years curriculum. The industry send their expert to train our students. And in that way, every semester we have 2 or 3 industry electives from the different companies. And later these companies, if they want to hire, they hire from this batch. So that's the model, industry selective model. We have one more model, that's industry projects model. So like Sandeep mentioned, students are trained on the synthetic data. So that's not a real world problems. So we go to industries, we ask them for the problem statements. Many companies respond to us, and they give us the real problem statements to our students. We have expert faculties who did their PhDs from IITs and IITs. So our faculties and a group of students, they work on the problem statement and they deliver different solutions to the companies. So in that way, till date, we have worked with almost 400 different companies. We have signed MOUs with the different companies. We have established a center of excellence, industry-sponsored labs in our campus through this activity, and that becomes very successful activity. Now, many companies they are absorbing the students through this industry project work. Those students do the 6 months or 1 year industry project with the company, and later they like the student and they absorb the students in their organization. So in that way, we try to give a real life experience, real industry experience to our students within the campus itself.
See, that's a good one. I think I have a suggestion here, right? Instead of looking at internship as a 7 semester or an 8 semester activity, my view is you should allocate 1 hour per day,
Okay.
right from the first year or first semester, for making the students ready for corporate world. I mean, that
Okay.
could be a series of trainings, 1 hour per day for full 4 years, which is some 200 days at least you study.
Of course, 200 to 40 days
Yeah,
a
so
year.
200 into 4 is 800 days. If you can spend 800 days studying 1 hour only focused on how to get your skills ready for corporate world, and that could be a mix of problem solving, analytical skills, communication, socializing, whatnot, right? Which are, see, none of these are taught when I studied engineering, right? I do not know whether things have changed on the ground today, right? But I am talking about 30 years back, right? So when I got into corporate world through campus, it's completely different than what you saw in academic world, right?
Yeah,
So it's a struggle for first 1 year. You don't even, I mean, I didn't even have the confidence to talk to my manager, right? That's the kind of situation that most of the students today also facing are facing, right? Now my suggestion is you should have a module only focused on corporate readiness for students, and that should be one
Okay.
hour per day for the whole full 4 years, and that will have multiple modules or sub packets or whatever you want to call, right? And I mean, I'll be more than happy to work with your college and define something on those lines, right? Bottom line is that is what will help, and finally internship will help. But internship is again specific to one company. I mean, I've seen in Wipro interns are used for documentation, research, and some basic stuff, right? They're not really productive in my view, right? But that's what I think matters. If you can train them right from day one, so that they come out as a fully ready resource at the end of 4 years, and all the things that I mentioned, analytical skills, problem solving skills, inquisitiveness, asking the right questions, thinking like a consultant, there are 100 other traits that I can talk about, right? All of those are very, very important, which are never focused upon.
So
And that is why.
to feed off this one, we've recently we were part of a interview where we tried to get a client with British Petroleum. It did not go through, but they evaluated us for 9 months. Like one baby only could have been born, right? 9 months they evaluated us, and they keep interviewing the team, pushing. They wanted to see where we would break. So they really tried to push us deep and, as you said, depth. And we finally broke, but it was way beyond what even we thought was needed. But we broke finally. Coming, so that is how companies are going to evaluate students also, right? So coming back to what we practice, I would say in these sessions, intellectual abuse. Okay, so I worked with this company called ISA Skill Development in the training. This is founded by two ex-IMA graduates, and they believe that the IMA's style, the pedagogy of teaching over there, if it was given to the grade 2 colleges, they will flourish, because IMA already the cream is going, and so they're benefiting. So the philosophy of this is intellectual abuse, where they will have, like, for example, one small example. Okay, one very fun example that we implemented. Submissions will be time bound. You have your 10 marks. You have to submit it by 5 o'clock this evening. If every 10 minutes it goes by, your evaluation from 10 marks is going to become only 8. So you're going to qualify only for 8. Then it comes 6. So that way, the time sense is put in. Like, that is one example. That the deadlines in the corporate world is non-negotiable sometimes, right? So those are ways also you can. Not that you should be advising them, but just I
was point
thought,
well
when
taken.
since you were saying that,
It's very
an
important
idea.
to have this conversation between academia and the industry. That's when the academia will get insights into how we are thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have a strong belief system. Our education system is vying a human brain against a pen drive. Okay, so if you are limiting your capability of human intellect against a pen drive and on memory, then obviously the pen drive is going to win. So that is how the Indian entire system, Indian education system is designed. That has to be broken. So to summarize all of whatever you guys said, into a concocted way, but or rather a straight way, how I see is second year they take up some industry projects which are live and work on real things. Third year they spend an hour or two every day at a center of excellence, that is set up by the company. And then the fourth year they work 1 year in the company, and then they get out. So by the time they complete it, I think engineering 2 years is good enough. The remaining 2 years is industry. So that's how, would be a better suggestion. And also for companies, right, struggling with talent, because in talent there are three ways: one is buy, build, and then rent. So buy is when you are, you can bankroll somebody, and then you can get talent from the top companies. You give them money, they come. That's it. But that is not a privilege enjoyed by many companies. So that is when you got to build and invest. So you basically find somebody who is not a 10, who's a 7 or a 6.5, and then you spend another 6 months with them to bring them to a 9. And that way you can do that. If you want people who are already, like, say, you want a pharma Power BI guy, okay, you take a Power BI guy who does not have pharma background, or you take a pharma guy who does not have a Power BI background, you
Then marry
upscale,
them.
you build it, and then he becomes a pharma reports developer. Okay, at after 6 months you get him at a relatively cheaper price compared to what the market going rate is for a pharma reports developer. That would be one. And then the rent part is what these big GCCs do. Whenever they want to experiment with something, they take these people on board. And right now it has become the main source of bread and butter for 90% of the services companies. 50% of them is staff augmentation, and then they claim to be doing analytics,
Transformation work.
transformation work. So it's basically body shopping. So earlier you were doing body shopping for US, now you're doing body shopping in India, charging them in dollars. That's the only difference I see.
Yeah, one other thing is it also depends on what kind of team or what kind of requirement you're trying to fill in, right? So if you are looking for someone who can cater to a specific project right now that is urgent, yeah, you obviously buy. But if you are looking to build a core team, you take freshers or you take someone who can fit into your organization and train them, and they'll stay with you.
Very new trend that we are observing, like many recruiters or companies, so they are hiring through the hackathons and technical competitions, and that becomes very regular now. And I'm very happy, like we have very good hackathon culture in Vishwakarma since last 7 8 years when the trend is started. uh, and we support the students the way we appreciate our academic toppers. We appreciate the hackathon winners there, and we start that from the right from first year. So for first year students, we there are some hackathons, so we motivate them to register for that. Many times we sponsor their travel, their registration fees and all. And it's very good, like many of our students team, they are winning the national level hackathons with the different multinational companies. So that becomes a regular culture with us. And we are observed many companies now, they're trying to hunt the talent through this hackathon culture. So many companies stopped their regular hiring drives, and they're organizing some hackathons, 24 hours or 48 hours hackathons in the college campus or at their company premises. And through that, they are shortlisting students, the winners of the hackathons. End of the day, they are absorbing them into the organization.
That's definitely a differentiator in your resume. How do you shortlist a resume as a HR or a recruiter, right? I think if you participated in a hackathon, even if you have not won it, that's a good initiative, right?
It's a
You
good
have taken
initiative.
the effort, you have learned something out of it. So I've seen resumes which are very plain vanilla, right? I studied here, I built this project, and I have ABC skills. I mean, today you're not even making an effort to format your resume, which will make it attractive. I can give it to Chat GPT; it'll give me a very nice, flowery language GPT, right? I mean, resume, right? So why are students even not making that effort? That shows that you don't have any initiative, right? At least I expect student to do that. Spell check, people don't do. There are a lot of spelling mistakes, right?
That's the bare minimum that somebody could do. That shows the amount. So they sometimes copy and paste resumes where you will see three different fonts on one resume. You'll see three different fonts. They've basically, plucked certain parts from certain resumes and just
Copy paste of
copy pasted,
somebody's resume.
not even formatted. Copy paste, okay, you do it, I understand. Okay, but you can at least take the couple of minutes more to, make it all in single format, single font, right? That also they don't do. So, kind of summarizing what I see, from laterals is that, especially building a data science team from scratch, unless it's set up by a Fortune 500 company, okay? So you basically build talent. When you build talent, you need laterals because top of the line talent don't join you.
Yeah.
That's the reality. Top of the line talent don't join you. So you cannot hire a 10. You'll probably hire a 6 or a 7 and grow them to be an 8 or a 9. So that is your initial 3-4 people.
We are not sending rockets to the moon. We don't need top of the talent.
Yeah,
We just need talent which can adapt and learn.
So
That's it.
that's how you think it is. I will
Right.
tell you one of my client companies without naming them. So a senior data scientist, a staff data scientist from IQVIA was interviewed by a guy who worked as a data scientist in CTS for a few years, and he rejected that guy.
Because he knows more than me.
So I was like, boss, he's a staff data scientist. He's got a couple of patents. And this guy, 3 years experience in data science in CTS, somehow is the head of data science in that company and decides that this guy is not good. So I was like, okay, first of all, the interviewer only is wrong. I don't know what was interviewed. The candidate called me. It's like, boss, did you really think that this person would interview me? I'm like, I didn't know. But companies also have unrealistic expectation, as though Google doesn't get top of line talent. Tesla doesn't get top of line talent. Somebody who's running a 200 member company, in some remote part of India expects, I want, rocket scientists for my, and the talent, there is a big gap, at least they should be a little more grounded. So 6 and 7, 4, 5 people laterals, and then the rest of the talent, I believe, with this, industry academia collaboration, you'll get a 2-year experience talent by the end of, by the end of the time they join you. So that way, I believe a combination, a hybrid model would work best in this than, going completely lateral or going completely fresher. That's my point.
No, I think
I agree.
it can't be completely lateral and completely. It has to be a mix of both. You can't build a team just by taking freshers. It will take ages for you to train, and after 2-3 years they want to do masters. Then you have to hire a new guy. It doesn't work.
You need laterals and the freshers in your team as a mix. Second, you need stars as well as average, but good attitude, right? I think you can't have a all-star team. Never it will work because of egos and attitude issues and whatnot, right? You can't have a all average team also. I mean, you should have a clear vision for what kind of team that you want to build, and then go for it. Uh, yeah, I keep reiterating the same thing. I look for a lot of things which are not tangible, right? That's what matters to me. For me, skill can be acquired, attitude cannot be acquired,
Yeah.
right? So that's how I look at people, and I've had people who have stuck with me for last 4-5 years. I mean, I'm not a very big company, right? But people have stuck with me for 4 to 5 years because of the nature of work that they get, the kind of learning opportunities they get, and the kind of freedom that they get. I mean, today they're working on XYZ, tomorrow they'll work on some ABC, which is completely different. All of us are learning at the same time, but that's the experience and exposure that you'll get, which you'll probably not get in larger companies. That's what matters.
When hiring laterals, especially for our clients, the moment we see any certification mentioned on their resume in between their work, after they started their work, we red flag and then we kind of remove that. Okay, so that is what we do. Anybody who has done certification means they were stuck somewhere in their career, they wanted a break, did some certification, and are looking for a break. Unless some other company has given that person an opportunity and proven, we, our clients don't want to, lay hands on those kind of profiles. Clients have told it very categorically, but nobody would tell it on air. I don't want a PhD, I want 5 years experience guy, it's all right.
Correct.
That is, I would much rather have somebody who is a MCA with 5 years experience than a PhD in data science. That is the reality that I have seen Would you, Mark, coming to you,
Mhm.
because you kind of support it. So when you hire lateral talent, the moment you see certification, do you see a red flag coming in, or you're like, no, I want to give this person a little more long rope?
Situation plays a part there, I guess.
No, so I would say that the testing, where do they break?
Do you
Do
talk to
I?
them?
Of course, I'll talk to them.
When you
Mm.
have, so let's
It is
say
not
you
a.
have
It's
15,
not a.
resumes, and you have time to talk to 5, and 10 resumes are work
If only we
experience.
were so.
No, no, I'm just
If that was
putting a
only us.
hypothetical scenario. I'm just putting in a hypothetical scenario. If you have 15 resumes who are all good,
Mhm.
10 of them have work experience, and then 5 of them have certifications
With
with
work
work
experience.
experience.
Mhm.
This is relevant work experience. That is not relevant, but certification.
Mhm.
Okay, and you can talk to only 5 people. Who would you pick?
So I would look for relevant work experience with certification, because as I said, I mean, it's not there means it's not there.
No, if you have
You're
relevant.
concocting the question where you want me to answer
No, no,
in
I'm
one way.
asking you. No, no,
Okay.
I'm
The
asking
situation
you.
is put out
No,
in
no, no.
that way.
I'm asking you because look. Somebody who has worked as a data scientist for 5 years, why would he go and get a data science certification to prove his metal?
Mhm.
So anybody who has got relevant experience will not have a certification. Anybody who
Right.
has got a certification, no matter how relevant his resume looks, it
Mhm.
means that he does not have relevant experience. That's why he has acquired a certificate.
Right.
So in that case, so rephrasing that question
Okay.
again,
Okay.
I'll come
Rephrasing
back
the
to you because
situation again. Yeah, you come back to me because.
you were pro certification.
Mhm.
I am all for certification. Like somebody is Google certified GCP engineer, somebody is Microsoft certified Azure engineer. I believe there is some metal or some substance to it.
Mhm.
He has worked in cloud. Now he has got a certification. I understand. Somebody, what is upgrade to give you a certification in data science? What is upgrade done in data science? Groundbreaking that they can certify somebody as a
Understood.
data scientist.
So, just to clarify, am I pro certification? No, I'm pro the right certification. Okay. Now, I do not know. Obviously, I also have methods of evaluating is this certification makes sense, or does it not make sense, or does it look like a fabrication of someone, as you said, does not have any skill sets or does not have any claim to fame in that particular industry, but is giving a certification. Those are not considered. Okay. That is what I would say.
So, see, when you say certifications, there are multiple type, right? If it is a very generic certification like data analytics certification from XYZ Institute or data science certifications, I wouldn't even look at that. But if they did certification on specific things like probabilistic graphical modeling or machine learning or RAGs, right? Then yeah, I would definitely be interested to talk to them.
Do you think these certificates are available online?
Yeah, yeah. So on Coursera, I think there are two courses available for just PGM itself. There is specific machine learning course available from Stanford, Yale, MIT also available. There are specific certifications available only on now RAGs or even convolution neural networks alone. Like very specific certifications like for only a specific skill. I mean, if they are doing that, that means they know the basic and they want to upskill themselves, right? That's a very good thing. But if it is like a
Niche.
very generic certification like data science from Coursera, I mean, that means they are a fresher who are learning data science. I would treat them as such.
Perfect. So I think we've kind of gotten an answer to how to build a data science team from scratch, but rather how not to build a data science team from scratch. But it was very interesting, and thanks to your honest opinions, because it kind of gives an insight, because the objective of conducting this is that look, whenever you talk to any corporate, right, they want to give you a very very kind of padded up cookie cut answer, where it's like a diplomat talking to you. The reason that Jaishankar is the only diplomat that has got so much attention is because he's not diplomatic.
Correct.
So that is the whole point. So the opinion matters a lot, because edtech industries honestly are robbing people of their lifetime savings, and doing it. I'm not saying every edtech company, but bulk of them fall in the same pit. So that is my personal kind of observation around it, and I also wanted you guys to share your thoughts on what is important versus what is not important, because people tell that education is important. Education is not important anymore. It's application of skill. Application of skill is important. And I have personally, taken folks who have not completed education, who have dropped out of college, and today they're all, doing well in sales. So it doesn't matter what they study. It's the right attitude and mindset, according to, all of you agreed on that. And I think good thing is that, corporates have a very very nice way of telling things which does not talk the truth. And today we had a very very enlightening session where, we talked just the truth. We talked just the truth, and, hope we get some flack for it. So
I
let's.
just hope the students of Vishwakarma Institute doesn't get wrong ideas after seeing this, right? I mean, we are all trying to tell what is working on the ground, what is practical, what is the industry looking. So doesn't mean that you just discontinue your studies, right? That's not what we are preaching. So
So studies is very important. Studies is very important, because I believe, the premium you pay for college is the students. The higher you go, like an IIM guy gets a good, because it's because of the selection process. Somebody, who wants to hire an MBA grad, like somebody like a Goldman Sachs, cannot go to whole India 1.5 crores, screen everybody and then select 1%, right? So that part is done by IIM. So I would say colleges are recruitment consultants at the very basic level. So basically they screen everybody, and then they conduct tests over a period of 4 years, and then give you the best talent that has managed to escape their process. So that is why you pay premium for better colleges. The lower and lower you go down the rung, so basically they are like, they're not that great. So that's why they don't get paid, or they don't get placed. So that's what I see. And true, education is very important. It opens the first door for you. After that first door, everybody is the same. Because when I joined as a data scientist, I was, I had IIT, NIT guys at Musigma who were, sharing the same desk. But after 1 month, an IIT or an NIT
it
didn't
doesn't
matter.
different matter.
Yeah, it
matter.
doesn't matter.
Kumaraguru, Coimbatore still mattered. So that's what. So at the end of it, it's your attitude. IIT, NITs, there were more people from there versus college versus my college. But at the end of it, it's what you do on the floor. It opens the first door. Education is just the first door, and continuous learning. So when Sandeep was doing it, I was wondering in 2013-14, I'm here. He is a manager.
Why is
He
he
has a
learning?
team under him. Why is he still learning new technologies? What has happened to him? Because I was fresh out of college, right? Like 2 years out of college, I like education is done. I'm like, Haba, I got out of this thing. I don't want to do any more education. But he was learning. I didn't realize. But then, after spending, a decade in data science industry, I believe the types of people, you got money, data science, you can be lending money. You can
I don't lend my money.
So that's the point. So that's what I kind of, so it's very, it was a very, very, very enriching session. Thanks to all your insights. Any
Thank you.
closing remarks on?
Before that, I have a question for all. Okay, like we are facing this problem with the students who face the placement cycle. Like these students, they are very specific about their job roles. So, like companies gave us a job description. So, all the engineering companies they have the common job profile GET, graduate engineer trainee. Same way, IT companies, of course, many companies they have the common job profile. That's a junior software engineer. There are some companies who have some specialized job profile like the data scientist and all, but these are very few as of now. But right from second or third year, students make up their minds and they say, "Okay, like I'll go with the X profile only, I'll go with the Y profile only." And again, they have the guidance from their family friends, someone is working in the IT industry and all, or they see some YouTube video and they make up their mind like there is a scope in with X technology or Y technology. And when the company comes with a generic job profile, they keep asking us like, so what is the actual job profile there? Even in the pre-placement talk, they try to ask if the company is going to offer XYZ job profile. Then and then they are interested. Even we have observed that in the final interview itself, they ask that to the HR. Like, if I get the X profile, I'll be interested to join. If Y, then I'm not. So this is happening and again. This is not the issue with the Vishwakarma students. This is everywhere. So your say on that?
So my question is, are they looking for a job role or are they looking for the company? There's a difference. Are you joining the company because you believe the company will give me opportunities to further my career? That's a question that you ask yourself. That's how asked. I mean, that's how I asked myself, and I started my career. Right. So career is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So, but if you're looking for a specific role or a job description, and you're discounting the company, that also makes sense because you are very clear in your mind, right? But at the end of the day, what I would advise the students is, uh, job content is important, company is also important. What kind of career growth that they offer is important in the longer term or in the shorter term, whatever. And what have your seniors done in the same college? Where are they right now after they join this current role, right? So you need to do your own due diligence, no doubt about it. But what I'm saying is, don't look for salary. You start off wherever you start off. In a period of 5 to 10 years, things will even out, right? So if you think, oh, somebody is giving me X lakhs more than this company, so I'm just joining there. Maybe because of your current economic situation, you're making that call. Fair enough, but just don't look for salary package, right? Look for the content and the kind of culture that they give in the company. If you join a large organization, especially the services organization, you will be one among the millions or thousands, right? And you will be doing work which is very repeatable. And I can guarantee in 3 to 6 months you will get bored, right? So be wise to choose the role that will excite you, because after 6 months, if you start looking out, you will not get a job because you have only 6 months of experience. If you're quitting so early, then nobody is going to give you a job. So think wisely and join. And a lot of people want to join a product company, great. But product company expects a little different kind of skills. You need to be a lot more technically stronger. Whereas a services company, technical skills are little average, skills are okay. So you need to plan that out well in advance and then look for those kind of things. Instead of confusing yourself and trying to be there everywhere, it will not work. If you want to be in a product company out of campus, then you have to be technically very strong.
Yeah, I think someone needs to educate these kids that you shouldn't focus on getting into a job role or a job position when they are coming out of college. You should they should ask themselves what they want to do. I mean, if someone is happy doing 9 to 5 job, doing the same thing every day, right? I mean, there are people like that and they want to do like that. It's okay. They can join a company specifical to that. But if someone wants to, I don't know, build their own product or build their own company, they need to, if they join a big company like TCS or anything, they won't learn anything. They have to join a startup, they have to grind themselves, they need to understand what needs to be done for a business to make a business, right? Only if you join a startup you can understand that. But you have to slog yourself, you have to work as a, one day you have to work as a developer, other day you might have to work as a data analyst, other day you might have to work on sales, someday you might have to call up customers. You have to do all sort of things.
And there's no job security in startup.
Yeah, but it depends on what they want to do. And even some my cousins or even some kids in my apartment, they ask me what to do. I tell them the same thing. So what is it that you want to do after 2 to 3 years, right? So if you are happy doing the same job, yeah, go. Which one pays you higher, go there and just settle there, right? It's fine. But if you want to do something else, if you want to go for masters, what is the subject you are interested in? Try to get experience in that kind of company. Or if you even last, I think couple of weeks back, one of my neighbor's kid, she has done some masters in mathematics and other things, but she has her own blog, and she likes explaining things and talking to people. So I asked her, why don't you intern with a digital media company? So she joined some company in Indiranagar now. She is very happy there. It depends on what they want to do, right? And they shouldn't see, they're very young at that time. I mean, they don't know what's happening out in the world, right? So they shouldn't think that I will go into this job role, I will go into this job position at that point. It's not good.
Great.
I'll break it to you. Whatever the job description says and whatever they'll be doing, would be completely unrelated one.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it will keep changing the moment
Every
you
three
do it.
months or every 3 year.
And for me, I was in Mu Sigma in the glory days of Mu Sigma. So in 2012, so I joined as a data scientist, and I very soon figured out that that job is not for me. 3 months in, I said I want to move, but they facilitated me moving into the sales team, and then I was able to do well in sales. Had I chosen a company that would give me only data science work at that moment, if I had figured out after 2 3 months that data science is not for me, either I would be working kicking myself every day, or I would be out in the job market, searching for a job that does not exist. So that is what would have happened. So students saying that I want this specific role, I'm telling you, you go to I don't know how many people go to a broiler shop nowadays. You go and say you want three chickens, 2 kgs each. You see how they pick up chickens. That's how freshers are treated in industries. So no matter what they have done, so basically the we were like 15 people for Deloitte. Okay, get up 1 2 3 4 15. Okay, the next guy is like, no, my father works in Deloitte, it's all right, you sit down. So then it's like, okay, Walmart. Okay, now 20 people. One guy had gone for a break. That guy is not part of Walmart. He's like, boss, I have a retail store in Patna. So what? So you will go into Sanofi. Like, okay. So that's how people were kind of segregated. So if people think that a project or doing something specially is going to get them a job like that, it is not. Unless you work with that company for 2 years like we talked about, then probably you have a better chance of doing it. It's always the company first. Like, there are people, I'm sure, in Vishwakarma who did not get computer science and IT, who joined as in ENTC department, and still will somehow get into the same companies that an IT or a computer science guy would get.
Right.
So they chose the college, not the course.
Course, yeah.
So in a company,
Same
again,
concept.
it's the same philosophy.
Hmm.
You join in a shitty company with a great role, it still be shitty. You join in a great company in a shitty role, the role will still be great.
That's why I asked, are you looking for a role or are you looking for a company? That's something you have to make your mind.
As we are sitting in Bangalore, and Bangalore is a Silicon Valley of India, and we are based out of Pune. So we always push our students to go to the metro cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, even Noida, to make their careers. And like hundreds of our alumni, they are there in Bangalore, Hyderabad, means every corner of the world. But that trend I see in the students, in the current students, Gen Z students, like they want to stick to their native city only. If the student is from Pune, he want to do job or career in Pune itself.
That's a personal
Means
choice. No,
there
I
is
don't think we
a
can do much
constraint
about
for
it.
the relocation. So, but again, they wanted to make their career great, but they don't want to move from their native place.
I will
So,
tell
you
you.
say
So
on that?
based on my interaction with the students, what I understood is that if you're going to give them a bare minimum package, okay, 5 6 lakhs, they are like, I'm very comfortable in my own city. I don't want to move out of my comfort zone. If you're going to give them an exorbitant salary, then they're willing to move anywhere, even to Uganda or Nigeria. So that's how I see students. I think there is a lot of things that people kind of diss about Gen Z. Gen Zs are very clear and they have options. We didn't have options when we started. So
But we
that
observe
is
that's not a student choice, like that. That's their parents' choice.
because a parent is
They
somebody
are more
who
influential.
is not a part of the previous generation, who are themselves working in an IT company. And India is not solving third world problems anymore. India is solving first world problems. Parents are willing to foot the bill for 1 year, 2 years if he doesn't get a 60,000, 70,000 job right out of college.
See, in my view, there's nothing wrong if somebody wants to stay in their hometown, right? It's a personal choice. At the end of the day, you decide whether you want to be flexible on the location, you want to be flexible on the pay packet, you want to be flexible on the role, you want to be flexible on learning opportunities, you want to be risk taker or risk averse. All these factors come into play at the end of the day in choosing whether it is services, product, startup, large company, small company, banking, XYZ. So, in my view, it's all up to you. You have a lot of choices, as Gautam is saying right now, and you can pick and choose what you want. You can define your career path the way you want. If you don't want to work beyond 5 o'clock in the evening, there are roles available for that also. If you want to slog all night and become a superstar in the next 5 years, there are roles available for that also. We, at least in my time when I started 30 years back, we never had those kind of choices. So we had to pick and choose whatever comes our way first, because there are 80 students who are writing that campus hiring, and out of that only 8 got selected. So you have to be in that 8 whether you like it or not. There's no other option. So, but things have changed significantly, so you can pick and choose. So I'm glad students have those opportunities to pick and choose. I'm glad students are thinking differently. I don't want this herd mentality to come in. Everybody is unique. Everybody has their own likings and dislikes, and let them choose their path.
So Vishwajit, on talking to students, right, what I figured out is that they are like, I don't want to leave my comfort zone for a salary that is not exorbitant. If it's outside of my comfort zone, then I need a salary that kind of, is adequately pays me for the risk
Yeah,
I'm
that's
taking.
right.
The risk I'm taking. One. Second thing is that they are far more risk taking than what we all are. What I understood, they are like, we want to join startups, we don't want to join big companies. That is one thing that I observed in the key students. They are not looking for big companies, they want to work in startups. Second, I asked them, hey, if you take up a startup internship, at the end of the year they may or may not give you a job. You will be losing out on all the big companies that are coming to your campus. They said that's a risk worth taking.
Agreed.
It's a risk worth taking. I'm willing to go for it. So I believe we are underestimating the intelligence of the student.
Correct.
The student has complete knowledge of what they want to do. Only thing that they are overthinking, and parents are often well intentioned people but not well informed people. Yeah, and there are a lot of emotions. Even if Srini is taking that decision for his son or daughter, he'd be much more emotionally involved and charged up than telling an advice to a third party. So that way parents should stay out of career advice and leave it to the experts to do it. And then parents should always intend to focus on doing the right thing for their kid than giving them advice. Okay, I believe parents advice should be disregarded in career choices.
And you can switch careers very easily in today's world, right?
Yeah, easily.
You're not stuck to one career all your life. I got stuck to one career all my life, and that is not the case anymore. Today you can start with digital marketing. You didn't like it, you want to be a programmer tomorrow. Day after you want to be an influencer. You can do anything and everything. There are so many opportunities outside. So in my view, parents should be an enabler. Professors and lecturers have a bigger say in this, in my view, so they should be an enabler in that. So we should stop straitjacketed thinking, conventional thinking. All these we have to throw out of the window, and let the students decide what they want as long as they are in the right path. That's it.
Thanks. I think.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your
Thank
time.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for
Thanks, everyone. Hey, thanks for watching Titans Talk today. I hope you had a really insightful session. I'm Gautam, your global CHRO who helps you buy, build, and rent talent across industries, across levels of experience. If you want to hire freshers or if you want to hire laterals, do get in touch with us with the link below, and my team will get in touch with you to take it from there. Looking forward to meeting you again in another episode.